Barbershop conversation, guys. Feel free to hit the subscribe button and follow me on Instagram too. I'm putting myself through a training camp. You guys might enjoy it. All the stuff I'm doing. I'm posting some of the stuff. So let's talk about Mike Brown. I shouldn't be laughing, right? Because he laughed, but I'm laugh. I was so uncomfortable listening to that interview, and why I was uncomfortable listening to that interview is because he's making light of an issue in front of white media. He believes him being a coach of Golden State supersedes him of being black. And there's a host of other things, but I want to talk about no matter what, as I tell you guys all the time, when my editor went and talked to this white man about being a sponsor for his basketball game, we walked out of that meeting when he asked for money. He just stiffened up and he graciously said no. And he says, Fred, don't ever forget you're still a nigga. And Mike Brown forgot that he's still a nigga. Mike Brown said in this interview that he was inching his car closer to the police officer. Imagine any other circumstances if the cops didn't know. If the reason why is because of the setting. He knew that the Spurs were behind him in that bus because they have walkie-talkies and they get ushered in for games and stuff if there's traffic. And I would assume in a major city like Oakland, right next to the airport, I've been to that arena. I've been by the arena. I've never been in there arena. You come around the airport. I believe you come around International Boulevard, if I'm not mistaken. Town, correct me if I'm wrong. And you get off at the first exit, or you can actually walk from the airport. You know what I'm saying? I've been to a Raider game. And so they, by all intents and purposes, they were ushered in. And Mike Brown has to understand, one, you're still a nigga. And two, this was a perfect opportunity to heighten the awareness of the country that we live in today. When I'm looking at, I get called Uncle Tom sometimes too because of how I express myself, how my syllables come out of my mouth, which is fine. People call me square, people call me coconut, whatever I wouldn't say I'm 100% comfortable with people calling me that. I'm well adjusted to those terms now. And listening to Mike Brown yesterday bothered the hell out of me. I'm sitting there like, what is this dude talking about? Why is he expressing himself in this manner to white media? And they are uncomfortable. They don't know whether to laugh, whether to take it seriously, because let me tell you guys a story. I was on a date with a non-black woman when the Oscar Grant verdict came in, and I know exactly where I was. I was at the Vault in downtown LA at I'm trying to think of the guy's name, the concert. He's big now. I was at a concert and I got the verdict. My boy texted me, Kurt. You guys hear me talk about my accountability team. He was my center in college. And he called me. He texted me or called me and said Oscar Grant got off. And his mother was a Black Panther. So we have that symmetry in terms of being aware of the plight of the black man in America. And he called me or texted me. He called me. I was at the concert. He called me and I said, I'm at a concert, and he texted me. That's exactly what happened. And he said, Oscar Grant, the police got off. And I immediately started crying. And the girl, I'm sorry I'm getting emotional about this, but the girl that I was with had no idea why the hell I was crying. And when you believe you have something dead center right and it gets taken away from you, imagine going through 4 years of college and not getting your degree. Imagine going through a trade school and not being accommodated with that award, or is it a diploma? I'm not sure. A certificate of completion. Look at that Oscar Grant situation. Dead center, left, right. Those cops were guilty. And it bothered the living heebie-jeebies out of me, man. And if you guys haven't seen Fruitvale Station, I suggest that you do. it was a gripping, man. When I say gripping, that shower scene at the end of the movie had me. Oh man, I and I'm gonna get off Mike Brown for a second. I've been on both sides of the fence. I grew up in South Central LA, and now I live. I Some may say I live in an affluent part of Los Angeles. Um, so I've been on both sides of the fence, man, and it bothers the living hibby jibbies out of me that one Mike Brown would laugh in a time and situation that we live in. Mike Brown is I believe Mike Brown is an Ivy League graduate. I don't Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe he is. So he understands the climate. But with that being said, with him being an Ivy League grad, maybe he's associated himself with non-blacks. And by looking at how he's attempting to make media feel comfortable, when in actuality you should try and make them feel uncomfortable. You know, this is why this is partly the reason why Kareem Abdul-Jabbar doesn't get the respect that he deserves, because he doesn't fit in the fabric of the current NBA. He doesn't fit in the fabric of where they want America to be. The greatest basketball player in the history of basketball, from birth till he's 71, said whatever. I'm not sure. I believe he just had a birthday. However old he is, from birth till now, he is the greatest basketball player to ever play this game. Some people may say Michael Jordan is the greatest pro, but from Power High School, I believe Kareem Abdul-Jabbar went to Power High School in New York City. The school is not in existence any longer. To now, to 38,000 points, 38 plus thousand points, he's the greatest basketball player to ever live. Only lose one game in college, three college championships, I believe. It's just impeccable, impeccable, and he doesn't get the respect he deserves because his name is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and not Lou Alcindor. And Mike Brown needs to fully understand his position, his his uh, his his position to affect change. He tried to make white media feel comfortable about what happened. Let's take me for an example. If I'm driving in my dirty Honda, like I have a Honda that I work in every day, and I am on King and Western. King and Western, for all you don't live in Los Angeles, is equivalent to any urban major corner in America, right? King Boulevard is a major artery through Los Angeles, and so is Western. And if I inch my Honda 1 inch closer to a cop on a motorcycle, and I have tinted windows, guns will be drawn. And if I don't cut that car off, shots 9 out of 10 times will be fired. Fired, excuse me. And I, he had a chance to. He had a chance to make this a special moment, because it's not about the NBA games anymore. I mean, this series is over. Cleveland may win 4-0, 4-1. It's not about basketball. And and this is why, and my day one subscribers know this, Barbershop Conversations is bigger than boxing. And I purposely want it to be. I purposely want you guys to have a reaction to my voice. I purposely want you guys to stand on either side. You understand what I'm saying? I don't, 9 out of 10, if I don't know information, I'm 50-50 on it. I'm in the gray area. If I have information on it, I will take a stand. And Mike Brown, it just made me feel uncomfortable. And his associate, and I'll say this. That's partly the reason why he was fired as a coach in Los Angeles, because his inability to assimilate. He couldn't assimilate to the nuances of contemporary NBA. He couldn't maneuver himself. and that's why he didn't have a reason relationship with. He was fired in the middle of the season, right? Yeah, and then Mike D'Antoni, and then he got fired. No relationship with Kobe Bryant. Who else is on that team? Dwight Howard. You know, it was just NBA. I mean, the Lakers were in shambles those 3 years when they went from Mike Brown to Mike D'Antoni. So Mike Brown, always remember at the end of the day, he pointed at his emblem too. Watch this. Watch the end of it. All you gotta do is Google it. It'll pop right up. He pointed at his emblem on his or his embroidery of the Warriors logo and says, "I'm the coach." I know exactly what he said because I'm black. He says, "I'm the coach of the damn Golden State Warriors. This is my building. I have a game tonight." And they're like, "Yeah, right, whatever." They half hear him, they full hear him. I have no idea, but that's exactly what he told the cop. And at that very moment, he should have realized his should have clicked on immediately. I'm just another nigga to these guys. I got this NBA team behind me, and it is more important for me to be fair to them and get them through than to be fair with this black man. He was doing the right thing. I assume they have a private entrance, right? The Range Rover was going through the private entrance of all the Golden State Warriors. And so I'm gonna do it. Maybe I want to do another video on this. I got to do my Bill Cosby interview as well. Not interview, but reaction to his interview yesterday. So I'm just bewildered that he would speak in a tone. So, and it's kind of alarming too that Popovich was laughing at that situation too, being that he's so aware. You know, he's so aware of what goes on. Um, so I'm shocked that he would laugh at Mike Brown. And I believe Mike Brown was an assistant coach from he started off with Popovich, if I'm not mistaken. You know, it's been some time since I've been consistent on Mike Brown, but to all my black men out there, all my brown brothers out there, if you look black, my Dominican brothers out there, always remember at the end of the day, you're just another nigga to them. They can give two shits about you. And you know these white cops, you know they voted for Donald Trump. 1 out of 2 people in America, plus or minus 1 out of 1.25 people voted for Donald Trump in America, right? She won the popular vote by maybe 3 to 5 million people. So that means less than 1.05 of Americans voted for either Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton. So you gotta make the assumption that that white cop voted for Donald Trump. And it bothers me that, you know, they create this division between black and brown. I get the cultural differences, but in the world we live in, when you go home in your neighborhood, yeah, there's cultural differences. Yeah, you speak Spanish, you do things a certain different way. I 100% grasp that. But the bigger picture, y'all Mexicans are just another nigga to them cops. Y'all Dominicans are just another nigga to them cops. Y'all black men are just another nigga to them cops. And you guys need to fully understand this. So what you want to do, right, is make sure your ass get home to your family. Flexing in front of a cop is not going to make headline news. It's not going to be in a rap video. All right? It's not going to be a major scene in a movie. You're going to be a hashtag, and you may or may not make the local news. And your family is going to come out and put flowers and candles. And in 2 weeks,